And welcome back to Big Apple Hockey. I am your host for tonight. You know me as Filk. I go by the government name of John Filkowski. You can see below. Follow me on Twitter. See my Twitter handle there at 92 and 82. We're here for another episode of The Final Buzzer. And right now, if you're a Rangers fan, you have to be riding high after that win. The Rangers played some playoff-type hockey against a fierce rival who just beat them over the weekend in the Pittsburgh Penguins and won 4-2. The big guns stepped up tonight and played some real good hockey. And the Rangers absolutely needed this. The Penguins were starting to bear down on them in the standings. And these last two nights have really, actually these last three nights, I should say, have really helped the Rangers get some distance between the Pittsburgh Penguins and almost seal up that third spot at the very least in the playoff picture. So let's get down to it. You know what I'm going to do. You've been here before. It's been a while, but we got to do it. You know what time it is. A lot of good tonight. Not a lot of bad and ugly. I will say this. This is the game that they needed to play, and it's the game that they need to start to play consistently in order to go forward and win playoff rounds and possibly win a Stanley Cup. The biggest things that I've been harping on with this team and other fans have as well has been the fact that they haven't been paying attention to detail on defense, and that's important. It's really important. And that you need to play playoff type hockey. And that's what this game was. This was playoff type hockey tonight. Big moves for the Rangers. Big efforts from the big guns. Mika Zibanejad, goal and assist. Chris Kreider, 2 goals, including an empty netter. The game winner and an empty netter to seal it. Game winner as well, his goal being the third goal. Just a lot of battles. That second period was a little bit of a trap type game. And yeah, another one. Did not let Tristan Jarry look like a Hall of Fame goaltender, David. Couldn't be more right about that. Michael with Igor looking eager. And Patrick Kane got a point in this game too. Another point. Believe that's 6 points in 7 games for him now. The fourth line did look great. There are other things we're definitely going to talk about. It's just I do agree with you here, Mikey D. You can't have Miklo and Schneider with the kid line or the Kane line. I think you got to have them with Zibanejad, Panarin, and Tarasenko, especially if that's going to be the line going forward. You need a defensively responsible presence like Zibanejad on that line. And Tarasenko was great as well. Yeah, definitely agree with you here. Hey, Jack. Definitely a better performance. I agree with you on that, Jack. But yeah, this is playoff type hockey, and the big guns needed to step up. Great game from Tarasenko as well. I thought Adam Fox was pretty good. I do believe that Jacob Trouba actually had a pretty good game. I'm not going to lie. I got to give credit where credit is due. Jacob Trouba actually played well. And he didn't have to throw a big hit to play well either. So, I good back checking all night from them. I definitely love the back checking. Tarasenko, not just with the diving play, but he was a beast along the boards tonight. Chris Kreider was a beast along the boards, down low in front of the net. Artemi Panarin was getting chippy too, and I love seeing that fire from him because when he shows that type of fire, I think other people go out there and they take a look at it and, hey, one of our smaller skilled guys is playing with an edge. We all have to play with an edge. So I definitely love seeing the efforts from those guys. Thought they were great. But yeah, this was a playoff type hockey game, and the Rangers needed to play that way and win. And with that is a great defensive effort. Gave up minimal high danger chances. unlike the Panthers-Canadiens game, which was a shootout at the OK Corral in Florida, a 9-5 win. I mean, with 10 goals in the first period. Jeez. Yeah, I think Gerard Gallant might have had a seizure if that happened tonight, but it didn't. The Rangers were tight, especially in that second period. There was not a lot going on. The one goal in the second came off of just a dumb mistake by Keandre Miller. He tried to pull an Adam Fox play and then go around the other way and then just drop the backhand pass when Crosby was already back there. Nothing Igor could do about that because Raquel was all alone in front because nobody expected Miller to make that play and try to force the pass to Trouba when Crosby was already there. So that one, and then the second goal from Pittsburgh, Crosby high sticks Mikkola, no call, and then gets the puck out front to Gensel. And it just, the refereeing, even though the Rangers got the 2 power plays that were handed out, it just so many missed calls against Pittsburgh. So many missed calls. So I do agree with this. You definitely need more from Keandre Miller. He needs to be a lot better than that. He hasn't been great recently. He needs to be more like the Keandre Miller was earlier on in the year and the end of last year. So we're going to move on from that. And we're talking about big guns. Mika March is definitely underway. Mika March is just it's a thing. It really is a thing at this point. A goal and an assist tonight, his 35th goal, 200th goal as a Ranger. He looks great. He's leading the way. Another game that he scores the first goal in, second consecutive game. He's got 9 opening goals to lead or it's actually second in the NHL behind Dylan Larkin. And there was another player. Mikko Rantanen. Both have 10 opening goals to open games. Mika Zibanejad's 9 puts him in second place. It's also second place in the league in power play goals. How about we throw him back on the first unit? Just an idea, Gerard. Just an idea. Maybe utilize your best weapon on the power play. So, yeah, and two-way play too. I mean, he played really good. I mean, I'm not going to say that Tarasenko is a defensive liability because he's not, although he's not anywhere close to a Selke caliber player. Yeah, you need more from Panarin defensively, but the two-way play from Mika Zibanejad has just been great lately. Really has, despite whoever his wingers have been. So I think Zibanejad should get some serious Selke consideration this year, although I don't think he will, unfortunately. I'm going to move on from Mika. And I saw this in the comments before. The fourth line giving Pittsburgh hell all game. Tyler Mott all over the place. Barclay Goodrow in everyone's face. Jimmy Vesey created, I think, 3 or 4 turnovers I counted in that game, including 2 of them, I think, in the third late. So, Jimmy Vesey really, really good tonight. All of them good defensively. And then Tyler Mott cashes in. And I got to go right into that. Tyler Mott's goal is hockey karma at its best, from my lips to the hockey god's ears. I loved seeing him score that goal, not only because of what happened, but because who he took the puck from. He took the puck from that scumbag, Pierre-Olivier Joseph. Screw that guy with his elbow to the friggin' chin. That was pure hockey karma. And Tyler Mott played a hell of a game. He's been banged up quite a bit since his return. A couple cheap shots on him. I love the fact that Mott got that goal. He needed that. It was his first goal since coming back to the Rangers. Great play from Tyler Mott just to come in and get that shot off. He's got a sneaky little shot. It's not great, but it's sneaky. So, yeah, you heard the NHL said no hearing on Joseph. I don't think anyone needed any confirmation. They weren't going to do anything about Pierre-Olivier Joseph and that elbow. Screw that. Screw the NHL and their stupid player safety. I'm tired of them. And then another thing is Igor's back. Igor looked great. Igor looked like himself. Yes, the Rangers outshot the Penguins, but Igor had some high danger chances to deal with, and he looked up to the task every time he was tested. Every time he was tested. So great to see that Igor's back. This is where he really needs to start hitting his stride, and this is the perfect time to do it, heading into the playoffs. Just keep the ball rolling and keep Igor playing. Maybe Halak gets another start here or there. Maybe that's it. But Igor's got to be the guy. He's got to be the guy. I mean, Halak has played enough this season to the point where I think Igor is pretty well rested. So, yeah, let's ride Igor into the playoffs and hope that Igor just hits 20, 21, 22 form in the playoffs, because the Rangers are going to be a problem if that's the case. And then I talked about him before, but this is the Chris Kreider the Rangers need. He scores his 29th and his 30th goals. And this is what you need from Chris Kreider on a nightly basis. You need him physical. You need him forechecking hard. You need him moving his feet. You need him winning those battles along the boards and in front of the net. And Chris Kreider did that tonight. And I don't know if it's because he was playing against his old Boston College buddy and Brian Dumoulin, but every time him and Dumoulin went to the front of the net, Kreider was winning a lot of those battles. And he was winning those battles along the boards too. And he looked like he wanted it. So if Chris Kreider is going to give you this down the stretch and he's been saving it, then yeah, I feel really good about the Rangers if Chris Kreider is gonna turn this into Chris Kreider 2014 playoff Chris Kreider season, because that's the Chris Kreider the Rangers need right now. That makes this top six a whole lot more formidable. That the offense overall a whole lot more formidable. And then Gallant just needs to tinker with the power play units and change these up, because they don't seem to be working. I know they've converted a little more than the abysmal rate that they were at previously, but these power plays aren't working. So I gotta say that this is a sight for sore eyes. This is a relief for every Ranger fan out there. Two guys that needed to be better in Kreider and Igor, and they're starting to hit their stride at the exact time to do it. So that's really all of that's the good, because I don't have any bad or any ugly tonight. But yeah, we definitely a great game from the Rangers. They needed that. They needed their guys to be good. I'm going to give a little bit of the DraftKings read here for a second, though, because we are sponsored by DraftKings, because we are part of the Hockey Podcast Network now. So I will play the video for a second here.
Hockey fans light the lamp this winter with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet just $5 pregame moneyline on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. If that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot and an even bigger payout. Download the DraftKings Sports app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN.
And yes, thank you to DraftKings for being our sponsor. Just wanted to get that video in there, and just use DraftKings if you're going to use sports betting, bet on hockey or anything sports related, or even if you're a wrestling fan, DraftKings is also the official sponsor of AEW. So if you want to bet on wrestling, use DraftKings as well. But definitely going to go to some comments and questions here that I've seen. And back-to-back with Pittsburgh and Nashville from Salvatore Silipo, if I'm pronouncing that right. I do apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I think it's the first time I've seen you in here. Welcome to the show if that's the case. But yeah, I do agree. You should get You should get Halak in against Nashville on the back-to-back because you have Pittsburgh. Igor should play against Pittsburgh again. So, Kurt, you were a little worried about Jari. Yeah, I mean, Jari was playing well. We got to give him that. He was playing well. Tomas, what's up, buddy? Sure, Kreider's first goal was luck, but as Napoleon asked all of his generals, are you lucky? In poker, they say it's better to be lucky than to be skilled and play the cards right. So I'll take it if it was lucky. James says Mika has to be on power play 1. Yeah. Hi. I'm the one that's been, well, I shouldn't say I'm the one, but I've been pushing that for a while now. Jack says when Kreider bullies his way to the net front, the offense clicks so well. Yeah, you need that presence. You can't be a perimeter team and win in the playoffs. Can't. David's Miller turnover was ugly. Yeah, it was. And Joe says Miller looks a little off. Couldn't agree more. Poppy Rican says that in the mod interview, he looks like he's wearing a shoulder brace. Jack said, laugh. Yeah, you know what? I thought Lafreniere was pretty good too, Jack. I really did. Jay Lewis says, I'd rather see Zach Jones over Mikkola. No, I don't. I don't want to see Zach Jones at this point. I think that I think if anything that Mikkola, when he goes back down to the third pairing with Schneider, he's going to be all right. I just think he's in over his head right now trying to fill in for Lindgren. Hey, what's going on, John? David says next year Jay Lewis might get his wish about Zach Jones over Mikkola. We'll see. They've been very reluctant to give Zach Jones any minutes, despite him actually playing well when he's played. Tomas disagrees. Mikkola's been playing well. Yeah, you know what? I think Mikkola's been all right. I think it's a lot to ask of Mikkola to play well on a top pairing with Zach Jones. Or I mean, Zach Jones. We're talking about Zach with Adam Fox. Playing 20+ minutes a game. I just think Mikkola's being asked to play above his stage, and it kind of reminds me of Marc, Malik, and Michael Roosevelt's the Rangers' top pairing from 06 to 08. Like, those two didn't belong on a top pairing defense, but yet they were the Rangers' top pairing for 3 seasons out of the lockout. David says, I hear WWE's trying to do the same thing. Betting on wrestling seems odd. Yeah, it's a lot of prop bets and stuff like that, apparently. Davey, what's going on, man? So who is my most active or my most hated active Ranger? Call it the Patrick Nemeth Award. Who wins the Patrick Nemeth Award? I don't really have anybody that I really hate right now. I don't. I've hated how the coach has used some of the players. Like putting Jimmy VC in the top 6 was not good. I understand why Gallant did it, but it wasn't good. Same with Barclay Goodrow. I hate the fact that he put those guys there. Not that he did. Not them themselves, but the fact that Gallant put those guys there in those positions, despite having other options that he could have used, was what pissed me off. Not the players themselves. I don't really have anybody I hate right now. Poppy Rican Ranger, thank you very much. We appreciate that. On behalf of all 3 of us here, thank you. We do appreciate it. And just remember, everybody, like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. So just keep watching. We'll keep churning out content. Poppy says, Jones is too small. Yeah, I think that's part of it. Even though I don't think it's right, I do think that's part of it. James asks, would I sit Miller a game to wake him up a little when Lindy gets back? You know what? I'd consider it, James. I don't think it'll happen, but I'd consider it. And we're out for life saying, can anyone please explain why Gallant does not want to utilize his timeout in the third? You know what? You're about the 5th person I've seen between 4 other people on Twitter that mentioned this. And I don't understand why he didn't use it there. Mikkola rhymes with Ricola, and yeah, he should be on the 3rd defensive pairing. Yeah, Michael, he's being asked to do something out of necessity. He would never be on that top pairing there. Joe says Mikkola's been pretty good. He's not a first pairing D-man, but much better than I've expected. Yeah, I would agree with this. Mikkola has been, You know what? He started off kind of rough and took a lot of dumb penalties early on, but he got better. And then when Lindgren came out, he's had some decent games on that top pairing with Fox. And you know what? All you can do is ask him to be okay. And that's it. Just not be a complete liability. And I don't think he has. So Michael says Miller should be with Fox. You know what? I get it, but they're not going to break up that Trouba and Miller pairing. They just refuse to do it. They haven't. It's been 3 seasons now, and they refuse to do it. So sorry, but I just don't see it. Even though I agree with you that Miller should be playing with Fox. The pen sucks as AP. Yep. I'm all about that. Dario Ruggiero. By the way, I don't think I've seen you in here either. If you've been on it with us before, my apologies, but welcome to the show. Sign Kaner and Vladdy, 2 years front loaded. I don't really think you could really do much in bonus contracts. Maybe with Kane as a 35 and older, but I don't think he's going to be 35 by the time that deal would be needed. So I don't think he'd fall under that. But yeah, I do agree. If there is a way to try to sign, Tarasenko to me would be the priority. I think Tarasenko fits in. I like what Kane's done so far since that slow start. He's really adjusted. He's starting to play better. But yeah, I think Tarasenko should be the priority. Zach Jones has done really well the last 2 years in Hartford. It's time to let him play at the NHL level and move him. Listen, David, I agree with you. It is what it is at this point with this guy. Gallant just does not want to seem to play him. I don't like it. I would love to see Jones get the time, but it's not going to happen right now. Now is not the right time for it. And the question is, if not now, when? And to me, if the question is, if not now, when, then the answer is move him. And maybe they'll move him this offseason. So who knows? I think that's what probably happens. I think maybe they move him in the offseason. But we'll see. Kenneth Olinger, how much more patience do we need to have with Kakko? Guy does not. Listen, I disagree with you here, man. I get that everybody wants to see the points, but he's been relegated to their third line. I would like to see an increase in speed. I would like to see an increase in conditioning. I think his conditioning is decent, and I think his skating has gotten better. But I think he can be a Rantanen light, and I'm waiting for that. And he needs to really have a faster first step. I think that's part of it. Music says Mikkola is very two-sided. One shift, he's great. Next shift, he's in the box again. Burton, yeah, that's part of it. But then again, you have a guy that's a third-pairing defenseman that's playing first-pairing minutes. These mistakes that he makes are going to be magnified big time because he's playing 20-plus minutes a game instead of 16, 17 minutes a game like he should be. Michael Sullivan says, do I think the Rangers, as presently constructed, have the sandpaper for a playoff run? Would I have liked a little more grit? Sure. Do I think they have it in them? Yes. They just need to play like this on a nightly basis. And I think come playoff time, I think they will. But you want to see it a little more consistently down the stretch run. Joe says this team doesn't have garbage players. Harper's competent. Yep. John says Igor's rounding into shape. Yeah, that's just what I was saying before. Kurt says Gallant shuffles. Yeah, Gallant shuffles the lines a little too much, my friend. I do agree with that. David Wood says no Hunt, no Hayek, no Nemeth, no Georgiev, no one to hate. Must be killing some Ranger fans. I'm happy with it. I don't have any problems with anybody on this team right now. I just want to see. I want to see more from the big guns more consistently. That's the only thing I want to see. Poppy saying Jones cannot move players in front of the net. Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing at that size. That is going to be a problem, and that's something that's going to play into him not playing. Dan Whitaker said, do you see the Penguins? Yeah, I saw that. Disgusting. It's a disgusting fan base. It really is. Disgusting fan base. I mean, they were the ones that posted the 9/11 crap when the Rangers beat them. You know what? It's just a disgusting fan base. And that guy doesn't speak for anyone. I know not all of them are crap like that, but just too many times I've seen too many things like that from Penguins fans, and I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them. Do I think having Tarasenko and Kane make us weaker defensively? Not necessarily. I think the team has been playing spotty defense even before those guys got here. So I think it's a leadership issue. That's where the leadership group has to come together and say, hey, we need to start paying more attention to detail in our own zone. Stop turning the puck over in our own zone. And, I mean, they've been better the last, I would say, few games or so. But, yeah, I don't think it's a Tarasenko and Kane issue. Yeah, Kane isn't a great defensive player, but this was something that happened before that. Poppy, and thank you again, Poppy. We do appreciate that. And you asked us here, would it be possible for Tarasenko and Kane? I highly doubt it, but who knows? Could those guys take discounts to stay here? Maybe. If they like it that much and they feel like they have a chance at a cup, maybe. I wonder where they get the cap space from to do it, and I wonder who's moved. That's what I wonder. I would imagine Barclay Goodrow's probably gone at that point. Tomas said this in an earlier video, but yeah, he scored on Mikkola. Mikkola scored on Hank in the 2019 World Championships. That's an interesting little tidbit. Joe says, I think Tarasenko, although maybe not great defensively, but has some fire. Yeah. Poppy asking if they can take a discount like Bergeron and Krejci. Yeah, I would love that, but I don't see that happening, man. I would love that. I think everybody would love that, but how realistic is that? I think the realism factor there is slim to none. Dario, you're welcome. I'm usually pretty good with these question time things. I try to get through my little bullet points. I'm watching the Edmonton and Dallas game. It's on right now. I'm trying to see if McDavid scores another one. But I try to go get as much Q&A time as possible. Kako rules the boards. Yeah, I mean, he's great along the boards, and he drew that penalty in the second that way. That towards the end of the second period, that was all Kako, that shift. I think Kane is more likely to take a team-friendly deal. Tarasenko can get his last shot. Yeah, I understand that. I think Tarasenko would be the one that I would prioritize if it was up to me. Jay Lewis says Jones will be moved in the draft to move up in the first round. Gut feeling. I don't think Jones has that type of value. Someone else is going to be moved if that's the case. Kako is the best guy that they got holding the puck in the zone. It's a horse. He's a horse. Takes two guys off to get him off. Yeah, or get him off the puck rather. Yeah, I do agree with that, Jones. I totally agree with that. I mean, I even said before that the reverse hit that he threw reminded me of prime Peter Forsberg, how he used to throw those reverse hits. He used to knock people right on their backs with that because nobody would expect it. Then Forsberg would brace himself, boom, and then guys right on his back. So Kako doing that and knocking, I think, was it Dumoulin that he knocked over? And then, just to draw the penalty after that, that was great. Look around the league, every coach shuffles lines. Yes, but Gallant's a little too happy with that, Kenneth. Even Trouba's been mostly good. Trouba's been better lately. I'll give him that. Miller's been the problem on that pairing lately. Running out of position, getting caught up ice. Just, you know what? Miller needs to go back to where he was last postseason and the stretch run of last season, and then the first half of this year. I don't know what's going on with Keandre, but so far his career trajectory says play great for a while, play like crap for a while, play great for a while, play like crap for a while. I guess now we have to hope that he gets back to the play great for a while, Keandre Miller, and he's not a drag down in the playoffs. How depressed is Marc because Edward Diaz is done for the year? Marc is not a happy man right now, I can tell you that. Sean, what's going on, bud? Says he'd like to keep Tarasenko. Cap going up, possibly $1 million. Actually, it might go up more than that. I talked about that on yesterday's show. I read that whole bit from Frank Saravalli, that whole article on Daily Faceoff. So if you have a chance, go read that. Davey says if we make a deep playoff run, they might want to stay. Yeah, that's what I was alluding to before. But again, I just don't know how it can actually work with the cap, Davey. What's going on, Matt? Yeah, 4 lines is big. Tomas, I actually read the article, like I was just saying to Poppy before. I read the article from Frank Saravalli, and I think it's possible. I think if the Players Association is willing to, give a little bit, then you can make that work, and you could add some guys for the teams. So hopefully, Bettman just put the ball in the players' court. So we'll see what happens there. As far as resigning the 2, David says if all debt is paid back, the cap go up by almost $5 million. King would have to take an extreme discount, and Tarasenko a small one, but it's highly unlikely. Yeah. Kenneth, development is not linear, my friend. It's not linear. Okay, just look at Tage Thompson. That's all I'm going to say. I've gone over this ad nauseum. It's just look at Tage Thompson. And I'm not saying Kakko's going to be Tage Thompson. I'm saying Tage Thompson was nothing for years and then broke out last year and is now one of the best players in the league. So players sometimes develop out of nowhere. Chris G says he loves the team is now just worried about Mikkola, prefer Harper in the playoffs. I don't agree with that. I think Harper is too slow for the playoffs. Too slow against better teams that are faster skaters. Laffy and Kakko get some speed skating lessons, and we have 2 real studs. I do agree with that, Michael. They need to work on their skating. Dario says, tell the kids to buy in, the best to buy in. Drury sell high. It's enough said. I get what you're saying, Dario. I just don't think it's that easy. I just don't. I hope they can do whatever they can to keep this team together, because I do think if they don't win this year, I think if they keep the team together and make a couple of small adds, they can win next year. Miller reminds me of Brady Shea. J. Lewis says, yeah, I think, I could see why you would say that. Chris G saying Miller has faster jets than Shea. I don't know. That's close. Very close with those two. I get it, Kenneth. Again, development is not linear, though. It's not linear. I'm going to tell you that right now. Meant the inconsistency of the player. Okay. We'll trade Torres for a 5th starter. I would all day long. I guess we're jumping to baseball here. Diane says, let's go Rangers. Definitely. Welcome back. Diaz injury was a reality, back to reality moment. It got Kane, Tarasenko, and Rogers. I knew life was too good. Davey says Penguins fans are like Eagles fans. Yeah. Yeah. And then Tomas, hey, have a good night, man. David, I totally agree with this. Kakko does not shoot the puck enough. He defers way too much. He has no confidence in his shot. He needs to work on his shot a little more, and I think he needs to take it more. So I do agree with you here. Go for probably like another 20, 25 minutes maybe, depending on how much questions are coming in, comments are coming in. Dallas just made it a 2-1 game in Edmonton. And I think that's Wyatt Johnston. Yeah, Wyatt Johnston. So. The Jets lost again. The Predators lost to the Blackhawks. And the Predators could have went 2 points behind the Jets, but nope. Nope. Rangers seem to be learning to win without Lindgren. Will be that much. Yeah, you know what? I couldn't agree more with this, Diane. I think the forwards are finally starting to play a little more of a playoff hockey type game. And I think that when Lindgren comes back, it's going to help the defensive unit. And I think that's just it works so well for them. Michael saying, yeah, the Devils lost in OT. That's a big one. That's a big loss for the Devils, and you want the Devils to win because I think the Rangers I think you'd rather play Carolina right now, if anything. I mean, they got a point, so they're only 1 point back, but Carolina has 2 games in hand. So, yeah, and that's what I was saying before, Matt. Kreider had himself a hell of a night. He got his 29th and 30th of the year, second 30-goal season. But yeah, Chris Kreider having a decent year. Not as good as last year, obviously, but still showing that he can still score goals. And you know what the sad part is? It's just there hasn't been a lot of puck luck for Kreider. He's missed a lot of those deflections. He's deflected some of those pucks wide that were going in last year, and he still got 30 goals. I think if just even half of those goals went his way, he'd be closing in on 40 right now. So. Davey saying, I don't like the idea of giving too much quota to small market teams. I pressure small market teams to increase their market share. Can't be. I think I get what you're saying here. I think the issue is that small market teams have to spend, and I think you have to force owners to spend money. And that, the more money that goes into the league, the better the product will be, the better the return will be, the more people will go there. And that's what it comes down to. Carolina will be missing Svechnikov. Yeah, it's a better matchup for whoever faces them. Dan Whitaker saying, love Kane. Would love for him to re-sign. You know what? We'll see what happens. I just don't know how realistic it is to ask either one of these guys to sign, never mind both of them. David says, if I don't know if the team looks like it's coming together, but if they actually start scoring, you don't think it's going to matter who we face in first round. Yeah. I think that, if they start scoring and Igor is Igor, Lindgren's back, I think they're a problem for whoever they face. Do I think the Penguins are as good as the Rangers, or the Rangers play down to competition? I think the Rangers play up and down to competition. It's not just down. They play up to their competition as well. They'll play a game like this, but they'll go out against Montreal and barely scrape by against Montreal somehow. It's just the nature of this team, the way that they play. Matt says, I knew he wasn't going to replicate 52 goals. Yeah, I thought 40 was possible for Kreider. I thought he was going to score around 35, but I thought 40 was possible. Kreider has had games where he's in position, but no one shooting puck. Yeah, this team suffers from passitis. Kreider gets too much hate from Ranger games. Counting the postseason last year, he scored 92 goals over that span. And yeah, all right. So the problem with Kreider, Kenneth, is the fact that he has games like he had tonight, and he's more than capable of having those games. But then oh wow, what a play by McDavid to Yamamoto, I think that was. But sorry. But yeah, he's very inconsistent. He just doesn't give you, oh, you're ahead of me, James, because it's still 2-1 on mine. Here he goes. Bang, goal, McJesus. Oh, 1 goal closer to 60, baby. That is 131st point of the year. McDavid with another 2-point game, but that's like a slow Tuesday at the office for him. But back to Kreider. Kreider's very inconsistent on a night-to-night basis with his efforts, and that's what pisses Rangers fans off, and rightfully so. So, Chris Kreider needs to be better on a nightly basis. He needs to be the player that he was tonight. And I'm not saying it's going to be like that every night, but more nights than not, be that guy. Montreal's a very good AHL team. Yeah. Georgia Graceland. This is the first time I think I've seen you in here. Welcome to the show, if so. Kane and Panarin with assists. Good to see them getting involved. They're not playing together right now, but they will definitely playing a part has definitely helped this team. And yeah, James, that power play is absolutely lethal. It's the number one power play in the league. You can't give them power play. You cannot give them a power play. They're going to score. It's just McDavid and Draisaitl together. It feels like it almost doesn't matter who the hell else you have with them. It just McDavid and Draisaitl just move the puck so damn well. It just, I feel like this is a better duo than Gretzky and Curry. You ask me. What I love what they do in Europe. Say sucker. If a team is bad for a while, should be sent down to a B League. Oh, you're talking about relegation, like in that's Premier League, I think it is in Britain in soccer. So, Francesca Bliss says, "Come playoff time, Crides will be there for us." Yeah, I would hope so. And welcome to the show because I don't think I've seen you here before. Georgia Graceland saying Kreider could reach maybe 40. No, you know what? I think 40 is probably not going to happen. He'd have to go on an absolute tear to get that. I don't see that happening. 50 is definitely not happening. Playoff Kreider is usually consistent. Yeah. Jay Lewis, yeah, it's usually Hyman in front of the net. Yeah, Hyman is nowhere near a point per game player without McDavid. I'll tell you that. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Diane. He'd have to go on an absolute tear to hit 40. Meaning, is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Not really. But I welcome it. I'd love to be wrong about that. By all means, please score all of the goals and get super hot, and then take that into the playoffs and lead us to the cup, please. And prove me wrong and shut me the hell up. Kreider's high before last year, I think, was 28, not 29. Alvalenker, hey, welcome back. Remember, scored the game-winning goal in OT against the Penguins when we weren't supposed to win that series. It's Bread Man. He's always going to deliver. Well, you know what? He was great in that series. 3 goals, 7 points in 7 games. And he scored points in 5 of the 7 games. So, yeah, we definitely need that Artemi Panarin. Diane saying she loved Kreider's hit on Letang. Yeah, I love seeing him throw the body like that. That's why I was saying that this is the Chris Kreider the Rangers need right now. Dario asking if I have any suggestions on what the Rangers should or could do moving forward. Depending on how far the Rangers go in the playoffs, if they make any line changes. I think that's going to be a day-by-day thing with Gallant. He's going to find something that he likes, stick with it, and then when it stops working, he's going to change it up. He changes lines like underwear. So, Jay, yeah, someone was saying this earlier on. Igor should play against the Penguins, lock against the Predators. I think that's probably going to happen. Davey, have a good night. Good talking to you as always. David, so still a career second high this year, still a great year. Yeah, no, I don't mind that he's a bunch scorer either. And it's not the goals for me. It's the efforts. The goals will come if the efforts are there. And tonight is just a microcosm of that. This was probably the best game I've seen Kreider play all year. And he got 2 goals out of it. So, Jay asking, does Lindgren come back for Penguins or Predators? I don't know. I know that he's skating, so he's probably getting closer, but I'm not trying to rush him back. I mean, they're playing well enough without him to the point where they don't need to rush him back. They just needed to pay. I think the forwards needed to pay a little more attention on defense, and they needed to stop turning the puck over, trying to get out of their own zone. So, yeah, do they need Lindgren back? Yes. But do they need to rush him back? No. Probably go for, say, another 15 minutes or so. Why didn't they put Lindgren on LTIR? Because then they wouldn't have been able to have him back until the playoffs. He would have had to been out until the end of the season. So, yeah, no LTIR there for Ryan Lindgren. Yeah, that would have just basically sealed the end of the season, and I don't think he necessarily will have to be out until the end of the season. I think he could be back before that. It's just, why rush him back this weekend if he's not ready? And I know that people are getting anxious because they heard that he's skating and practicing. So, listen, I get it. Wow, that's a risky pass through the middle by Skinner. Oh, man. He just passed it right up along. He passed it on the ice, up the middle. There was nobody there, but God forbid a Dallas player reads that. That's just in the net. And it's a 3-2 game. Good night, Diane. Thank you for joining, as always. MYR for Life says the Rangers have the talent to go deep. If the Rangers get knocked out in the second round, yeah, I think anything less than the conference finals, and I think Gallant is on the hot seat. If they don't make it to the conference finals or the Stanley Cup finals, I think that he's probably on the hot seat, if not gone. Francesca says, whatever happens in the playoffs, we have the patience to stick with the core and let them continue to grow and develop and be the winners that we know they can be. Yeah, I don't think they're going to go away from the core unless Dolan somehow pushes for them to make some sort of move that would put the Rangers over the top, hopefully. I hope that God Dolan doesn't get back into that mode, but I mean, he had a point this season where they said he was actively monitoring the team. So, I mean, he's been tempted. He knows they're close to winning. So, you never know. Did the Edmonton goalie pull a Jari? Yeah, he kind of did for a second, but he didn't get Josh Bailey'd. So, who would replace Gallant then? I can tell you right now, if Gallant gets fired, and so does Mike Sullivan in Pittsburgh, I'm going with Mike Sullivan. And he's got ties to the Rangers. He was an assistant coach here a while ago under John Tortorella. I mean, I think the Rangers would be stupid not to pick up Mike Sullivan. Rod Brindamore's not going to be available. I think Rod Brindamore is a great coach, one of the best in the league. But Mike Sullivan, over these last couple of years, has really proven, with all the injuries that the Penguins had and everything, and you know what they went through, that he's a great coach. Because Pittsburgh has not had the teams that they've had in past years, and yet, I mean, he's really done a lot with a reduced roster compared to 2016 and 2017 when they won those cups. So, Alva Lanker saying maybe we get Zuccarello back. Yeah, you know what? If they could get him back for cheap, I wouldn't mind it. I really wouldn't. But I just don't think Minnesota's going to move him. So I don't see that happening. Probably do another 10 minutes. NYR for Life saying I would love to have Marc Messier back in some capacity. Yeah, I don't think Marc Messier is – I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, Edmonton just hit the post on the empty net. Yeah, Dario, he does. he changes lines like he changes underwear. And Marc just seals it for Edmonton. Did McDavid get a point on that? I think he did. The NHL app hasn't updated it yet, but yeah, I think Matthias Janmark got the empty netter there. So, and then Messier should stay far away. And then David says Messier he doubts Messier gives up his cushy TV gig. So, and yeah, Janmark's goals unassisted. It's an empty netter. So, Mess wasn't bad on the broadcast the other night. James says, yeah. Michael says, I love Mess for bringing us a company. He's very selfish. And you know what? I understand this point of view. Because a lot of the decisions that happened in the mid-90s that set the Rangers back, like the Zubov and Nedved for Robitaille Samuelson trade, Messier had input on that. From what I've been told, from what I've read, Messier had a lot of input on that. So, for me, and I've heard all the stuff about him in Vancouver. I don't know if I'd want Messier really doing anything in a management capacity. He doesn't really have any experience in that regard. I don't see it. I don't see where Messier would fit in, but just maybe as a consultant with an organization in some sort of capacity, sure. But in an actual executive role, not really something I'd want to see unless he gets some experience. So. And if you ask Vancouver Canuck fans about Marc Messier, they'll say something like this, or that he's a cancer or whatever. So I don't think Messier had the input on the Gartner trade. I think that was more Keenan driven. So yeah, I heard Messier talking about Aaron Rodgers, about how, he's going to have to, step up and kind of, take on the responsibility of being the guy to lead them to win. And yeah, I think he's right. I don't know if the Jets will win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. They certainly have a much better team when they get him, because it's not a matter of if now at this point, it's a matter of when. But yeah. MJ Solos says, good win, great defense. Definitely. Yeah, definitely a very good defensive game. Losing Zubov was one of the dumbest things any New York sports team has ever done. That was an elite. They didn't play together at even strength on defense. Zubov wasn't playing with Leach. Leach always played with Bukaboom until Bukaboom retired. But that power play quarterback tandem of the two of them was just incredible, because they were both excellent passers and they both had great shots. So does Edmonton get another power play goal here with 139 left on this power play out of the 151 left in the game? See if McDavid can get another point. Jets getting Rodgers is such a dumb move. I don't think Green Bay has any leverage, really. People are trying to say that Green Bay has leverage. I don't see it. I really don't. Only ex Ranger I'd want to see behind the bench is Graves or Richter, but not as a head coach. I don't want to see any of these guys behind benches. They don't have any coaching experience. Like, you don't just put somebody behind there just because they were a great player. Did everybody not see what happened with Wayne Gretzky in Arizona? Gretzky's the best player ever, hands down. And yet he was not a good coach. So Yeah, it just some things are not they're not meant to be. Dario says he'd want Richardson out of Ottawa. Well, Mike Sullivan's also a former player. If I'm correct, Mike Sullivan actually also played for the Rangers. Oh, yes. He was a Rangers draft pick. 4th round, 69th overall in the 1987 NHL draft. He did not play for the Rangers, though. So, the Rangers are more than familiar with Mike Sullivan. Richter is coaching college right now, isn't he? I haven't heard anything about that, but maybe he is. No, but they are seeing MSL. I mean, sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, Brian Trottier. He was trash. He won a Stanley Cup as an assistant in Colorado in 2001. And he was horrible as a head coach. Never played, but was a draft pick. Yes, that's what I was saying. For a team now, it's in win now mode. You can't give. Yeah, exactly. You can't at this point. It's not happening. It's not happening. All right, so I'm going to go a few more minutes. So make sure you get your comments in. So I'm going to wrap this up. An Islanders plan to ruin the Rangers. Yeah. That's funny. I know a lot of people say that Milbury was a Bruins plant to ruin the Islanders. I mean, sure. I mean, Milbury was terrible. He was just an awful, awful GM. Oof. And good night, Poppy. Thank you for the contributions as always. We appreciate it. Yeah, I'd love Sullivan over Gallant too. I totally agree with you there, Francesca. You got a few more. If you got questions, fire them. Fire away. Because I'm going to head off in like maybe a couple of minutes here. How about Babcock? Seems like cancel culture basically got Babcock out of the league after the whole bullying thing with Toronto. So I doubt that happens. Milbury sabotaged himself. Yeah, David, I do agree with you. I think he was just out there. Out there. Whew, good. The dream would be Sullivan or Cooper. Yeah, Cooper's a good coach too. Cooper's a very good coach. He's been a winner at every level he's ever coached at. Islanders and Rangers can't even get out of their own way. Yep. We don't need a conspiracy. Yeah. Isles dump Trotz. Wanted him, but too late now. Thank you, MYR for life. Appreciate it. Good night, Alvin Lanker. DiPietro contract is almost done. Yeah. Marc Prestopnik. Definitely first time I've seen you on here. Welcome to the show. Should the Mott elbow have been a minor or a major? I think a minor. He should have gotten a penalty for an elbow. Yeah. It's an accidental elbow, but it's definitely an elbow. Jay Lewis. How about Chris Knobloch? Nah. Don't see anything special in him. Francesca, if we switch up power play, who would I want where? Zibanejad back in his spot would be a first for me. Kreider in front of the net. I want Lafreniere on the left side, or the bumper, and then I would say maybe Kane on that left side, and then Fox at the point. Maybe if you beat more people with their shoes, you would have done better. Yeah. My uncle was at that game. What's longer, DiPietro or Richards buyout? I think Richards is going to go longer, but I think DiPietro's was longer in general. Kreider, our man says, does Kreider get his number retired? I think it's possible, but he's going to have to step himself up. He's going to have to pass some people in the goal scoring lists. So Milbury can manage to sabotage himself. Yeah, Joe, I definitely agree. My uncle doesn't have the shoe, but he was there. But I am going to wrap this up for tonight. Thank you all for joining me. I know it was a little bit late and not noticed, but I was actually home for once after a game and had the energy to do it. So thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Just remember, like, share, and subscribe. Let everybody know about us. We're over 8,000 subscribers now. We're moving our way up towards 10,000. That's our goal for right now. And then after that, we'll start moving our way up, and we'll keep churning out hockey content. Something that I've thought about that I'm going to discuss with Marc and Anthony, an idea that I thought of, was that I might do webinars and have you all come in and actually chat with us, and you guys can join on live and jump in and chat with us and do like a webinar, because Streamyard offers them now. It'll be paid content. The amount won't be much, but we'll come up with something, and I think that'll be something that we're going to explore in the future. So I think it'll be cool. We'll do them, I don't know, maybe once or twice a month or something like that. And it'll be like a premium paid content thing. I think it could be cool. You guys could jump in and actually chat with us, and we can go around and give everybody the floor, so that, this way you can, jump into conversations and stuff like that. And just figured something we'd float out there. We'll also float it out there on the pages. Yeah. So no Russian bot ads. Yeah. Yeah. But yes, it's something that I thought about, and I floated the idea to Marc and Anthony, and it's something that we're going to probably try out in the future. I don't know when we're going to do it, but you'll know about it ahead of time. And if you want to join us on it, great. We'd appreciate that. We'll get to talk to everybody. And I know Marc wants to try to do more viewing parties and everything like that. So we're going to try to see if maybe we could fit in a viewing party by the end of the season. I don't know how likely it is, but we'll try to see if we can maybe pull something off. Or maybe even a playoffs. Maybe somehow if we can get enough for a playoff game, we could do a viewing party, maybe do some giveaways at it as well. So, but all stuff that we'll talk in the future. So, no, I wouldn't say it's really a call-in, but more like a webinar, because StreamYard is now offering webinars. So it's definitely something we want to look into, Matt. But yeah, I think it's a cool idea. I think it's awesome. I think, anyone who, again, it wouldn't cost much to do, per user. We're not going to be charging an arm and a leg for it. It'll be very, very affordable. But we get enough people to do it, we could sustain it, and then maybe it's something we do once or twice a month or something like that. So this is actually a really cool idea, having a Big Apple Hockey Night where everybody buys tickets in the same section and comes together. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. And be on the lookout for everybody, and just say hi, and everybody gets to meet everybody. That'd be cool at a game, or maybe even a pregame meetup at Stout or something like that. So, but again, all things we're going to look to explore. Definitely want to grow the channel. Definitely want to reach out to more people. Definitely want more content. Definitely want more activities and meetups, so that everybody can get to kind of meet each other and we get to see a lot of you guys face to face then at that point. So, and girls as well. So don't want to forget the girls in here. But yeah, so just keep looking out for that, and we'll let you know. So, and again, we appreciate you all joining me. And just remember, just like, share, and subscribe. Tell everybody about us. Tell everybody that, we're the craziest nuts that that want to talk hockey, and it's good hockey discussion. Tell everybody that we're energetic. Tell everybody that I'm an asshole. You know what? I don't know. Just tell everybody about us. And, we're looking, like I said, we're looking to grow the channel any way we can. Best way is usually word of mouth. So again, I appreciate you. Love you all. And what a game tonight. Let's hope they do the same thing on Saturday. Let's go Rangers, and you all have a good night.